Hello everyone and welcome to the Compulsive Investor channel. Here we talk about real estate investing, mistakes that can be made, how to screen for tenants, and a plethora of other related real estate themes. Now if you stick around toward the end of this video, I'm going to do a reenactment of an experience I had one time applying for a loan at a bank. This was a very emotional experience, but I learned a great deal from this experience. And isn't that usually the way things go? When your emotions get involved, that's when you really start to learn. So let's get started. Why would I need alternative financing? Well, there's a couple different reasons. One, possibly if you don't have much money, yet you have excellent credit, well, you might be a candidate for alternative financing. Another reason might be when you are self-employed. If you're self-employed, you're able to take deductions from your income that employees are not able to do. So this enables you to pay less tax. Take, for example, if, let's say you earned $50,000 at your business, but you bought a piece of equipment for 25 grand that year. Well, obviously you're not going to pay for that all at once. You're going to pay over maybe 7, 8, maybe even 10 years. You're going to have a payment for a couple $100 or so. Now, when you file your taxes, you can claim what's called the Section 179 deduction. And this enables you to deduct the entire amount of that piece of equipment in that same year that you purchased it. And this is a fantastic way to save money on taxes. However, if you ever want to get a loan for your business, you might just have this experience. I think we have a problem. You don't qualify for the loan. You don't make enough money. This isn't going to work. Ha! Get out of my office. Ha! Where's my lunch? Did I just see a cat? Ha!
I've been working so hard. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I gotta get this loan.
Now, how would you like to be in an experience like that, where you really need money to keep your business going? Perhaps during the aftermath of COVID, you're trying to keep your business going. You need funding, and to have something like that happen at a bank. Well, that's what this video is all about. How can I get alternative financing to fund my investments? And it doesn't just have to be real estate also. You can use these same methods for any business. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these methods. Now, before I get started, I have to give a stern warning about credit card use. The prerequisite to using credit cards for this type of financing, number one, you have to be responsible with credit cards. If you've had any trouble in the past, then it's probably not a good idea to use this kind of financing. You must understand how credit cards work, how the interest rates work on them. You have to understand the difference between good debt and bad debt. You have to understand that income and debt together can create cash flow. Just like on a battery, you have positive and you have negative. Neither one works without the other. Both of them together is what creates current. So income and debt, you use those together to create cash flow. That being said, let's talk about some of the credit cards that I've used to buy properties with. First of all, the one I talked about on my last video is my Bank of America card. It's a personal card. It's not a business credit card. I opened this in 2016, originally with an $8,000 limit. I charged things on this card. I paid them off every month. I charged, might be maybe $1,000 or so, and paid that off. The next month, maybe charge a couple hundred, then pay that off. Next month, 900, pay it off. This shows the credit card issuer that you are responsible with credit card debt. You can pay. That's why it's called revolving credit, because you're charging different amounts and you're paying those different amounts. When you use credit cards in this way, they will give you increases. So about every 6 months or so, I would apply for an increase. And my last one was just this June, a couple months ago. I was able to get another $5,000 on this, which brings it to $35,000 that I can charge on this card. Bank of America gives you 3% balance transfers on this card. So what I typically do, I'll put maybe 25 or 30 grand on it. So yeah, I definitely go over what I should, but I'm using this for a purpose. Again, it goes back to understanding how credit cards work. So I might put that amount on it, and then I'll use the BRRRR strategy. Buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat is what that stands for. So I'll buy the property in cash. You can always get a discount when you buy in cash. You can buy properties that banks won't loan on, so you get much better deals. You buy that property in cash, you rehab it, you get a tenant in there, rent it out, then you refinance it and pull that money back, and then you pay off this card and get it ready for the next use. So it's just a way of being able to get quick money when you find a deal, and that's really what you want to do. Next up, I have my First National Bank of Omaha gasoline credit cards. Yes, these are actually gasoline cards. How do I use those for financing rental properties? Well, that's what we're going to talk about. Both of these cards, the first one, my Sheets one, I opened in 2016, and it was originally 20 or just under 10 grand was the limit. And my Speedway was, I forget what it was at first, but through that same process of asking for increases about every 6 months or so, my Sheets is now at 30,000 and my Speedway is at 27,400. Now, both of these cards are actually regular credit cards as well. It means you don't just have to use them at the gas station, the regular Visa and MasterCard. But they also give you 4 to 7% balance transfers. Now, here's the kicker. They actually give you 60-month balance transfers. So you get 5 years to pay these off. I like to use these as much as possible. I love getting the low interest. I usually use them when I get an offer for 4 or 5, maybe even 6%. I try not to go much higher than that. I definitely stay in the single digits for my interest rates, even though some of these cards will offer you 12 and 13%, which is kind of silly because you can use a regular card for that. They give you 5 years to pay these back. So that's a great way to do the same thing. Get quick cash. You can usually deposit this in your bank within a couple days. You get a transfer into your account, and then you have that cash to buy properties. Next up are my Citi cards, MasterCards. Now, Citi gives you, they have several different cards. They have the double rewards here. They have another rewards one that I'm not that familiar with. They have a card called Simplicity and a few others, and they all pretty much do the same thing. They offer you what's called flex loans, and it's pretty much the same thing as the First National Bank of Omaha cards. They give flex loans for 4, sometimes up to 12%. Balance transfers basically is what they are. You have 60 months to pay them off, and you pay that same interest rate throughout that entire period. You can also get 12 to 18 month balance transfers for like 4%, something like that. But my best use is for these cards anyway, is the double rewards. I use them for personal, but I also use them for my rental properties, for all the expenses that I can put on them. Utilities on them, whatever I can. Property insurance, that adds up quickly. My wife and I have 12 properties that we insure, around $700 a year, something like that, and that adds up 2% really quickly. So you get a lot of rewards. And here's the kicker with rewards. As of yet, the government does not charge tax on income from rewards. Whether they will in the future or not, well, time will tell. But for right now, it's tax-free income. That's the big thing with these. Next, I have my Huntington Voice. I use this for groceries. They give 3% back on groceries. So if you have a big family, that certainly helps. For instance, if you usually pay $500 a month toward your groceries, that's $15 cash back, tax-free, you can put in your pocket. That's what I really like about these kind of cashback cards. Finally, I have my favorite gas card as of today. And this is kind of interesting. You can't get this card. It's actually an out-of-state card. You have to apply for an account with a Kentucky credit union, the Abound Credit Union. And they require you to deposit $5 in order to create the account. And that's it. They don't charge you anything after that. So you have to deposit that $5 and then you apply for their credit card and they'll issue it. And they give you 5% cash back directly to your statement every month. Now, some gas cards will give you 8 cents off per gallon, or maybe I've seen 10 cents off. So it makes people think that they're really saving a lot of money. But 5% cash back is actually almost twice as much as 10 cents off per gallon. That's why you have to do the numbers. In fact, in order to beat 5%, gas prices would have to be under $2 a gallon. I don't see that happening anytime soon. So as of right now, 5% back is the highest that I've ever seen any gas card. If I'm wrong, please comment below and I will be happy to get that card. Well, that's it for this video. I hope this helps somebody. If it does, please like and subscribe down below. My next video is going to be called Do Not Have an Open House. You heard correct. Do not have an open house. Well, why would I not want to have an open house? Don't I want as many people as possible to see my property before I rent it? I used to feel that way, and I used to have open houses, but I have since changed, and I'm going to explain why in my next video. Again, please like and subscribe down below. That way you won't miss this next video.